Welcome back to Through the Big Book with Dr. Ben. My name is Ben and I'm an alcoholic. And in this we'll be picking up in the doctor's opinion again. We'll be finishing the very last sentence on page XXVII. And I'm with my friend Jim B. today. It says, of course, an alcoholic ought to be freed from his physical craving from liquor. And this often requires a definite hospital procedure before psychological measures can be of maximum benefit. We believe, and so suggested a few years ago, that the action of alcohol on these chronic alcoholics is a manifestation of an allergy, that the phenomenon of craving is limited to this class and never occurs in the average temperate drinker. Now, we talked about that quite a bit here in the previous episode.
Sure.
And it says these allergic types can never safely use alcohol in any form at all. And once having formed the habit and found they cannot break it, once having lost their self-confidence, their reliance upon things human, their problems pile up on them and become astonishingly difficult to solve. And I must ask, does that sound familiar to you as the watcher or the reader of this? Has that ever happened to you?
Oh my gosh. I mean, this example, like I said, I shared in the previous cast that, we believe and so suggested a few years ago the action of alcohol in these chronic alcoholics is a manifestation of an allergy, and that the phenomenon of craving is limited to this class or to us and never occurs in the average temperate drinker. Average temperate drinkers, every time they drink, they get all they want, period. Mm-hmm. I belong to a service organization, and we didn't have Christmas parties because of COVID for 2 years, but pre-COVID Christmas party. It was at a guy's beautiful home. They brought in the caterer, they brought in the bartender, and I was back there getting a Coke, and I heard the bartender would say, if a person would walk by, would you care for another drink? Oh no, I told Linda I'd be home by 10. Oh no, I got things to do tomorrow. Right. But the best one I heard though was, oh no, I'm beginning to feel it. And I wanted to, and come on now, damn it, you're supposed to feel it. I mean, come on, drink. I mean, get it on. But see, I didn't realize that every time they drink, they get all they want.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to feel it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we've been to parties where we've seen people sitting there with a tall drink that looks like a forest in it, of all kinds of fruit and nuts and everything else in it. And 2 hours later, it's only halfway gone and the ice is melted and they're still tinkling the ice. And you're going, that's alcohol abuse.
That's abuse.
I mean, come on now. I mean, drink.
Yeah.
But
hilarious.
It says here, though, that frothy emotional appeal seldom suffices. There's a TV show on A&E called Intervention. Sometimes I'll be scrolling through my dish or whatever and see that show, and I literally want to puke. No human power, including mommies and daddies or employers, is going to relieve your alcoholism or drug addiction. Period. That's what frothy emotional appeal is. That's all that show is.
And just to define frothy real quick for the listeners, frothy means light and entertaining, but of little substance.
Of little substance, exactly. And all that screaming and squalling by mommy and daddy and whoever, that's frothy emotional appeal. So what? No alcoholic, no one can give you step one.
Yeah.
Period. As I said earlier, I'm not anti-treatment, but all that show is a marketing tool for a treatment center in Arizona. And that's all it is. But the point is, though, like I said, when I read this, frothy emotional appeal seldom suffices. The message which can interest and hold these people, these alcoholic people, must have depth and weight. In nearly all cases, their ideals must be grounded in a power greater than themselves if they are to recreate their lives. In other words, no one can give you step one except God, your higher power, period.
Yeah, and when I also see recreate their lives, I think of a whole new life, and that doesn't mean that maybe I'm going to move, or that I'm going to switch jobs, or quit this job, or divorce my wife, or whatever. It's from the inside out. It's a whole new life on the inside. That's what that means to me. But it's totally recreated from the inside out. So then it says, if any feel as psychiatrists directing a hospital for alcoholics we appear somewhat sentimental or biased, it says, let them stand with us a while on the firing line. See the tragedies, the despairing wives, the little children. Let the solving of these problems become a part of their daily work, and even of their sleeping moments. And the most cynical will not wonder that we've accepted and encouraged this movement. We feel, after many years of experience, that we found nothing which has contributed more to the rehabilitation of these men than the altruistic movement now growing up among them.
Wow. That just points out to me, we feel that after many years of experience that we have found nothing that has contributed more to that high success rate. Wow. To the rehabilitation of these men and the altruistic movement now growing up among them. The altruistic movement is Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's listen to this next. I can tell you my entire story in this one paragraph. Men and women drink essentially because they like the effect produced by alcohol. The sensation is so elusive that when they admit it is injurious, they cannot, after a time, differentiate the true from the false.
Everybody goes to jail. Everybody gets DUIs. Everybody wrecks the house whenever they're drunk.
That's right.
Everybody's bills are getting turned off. Everybody...
That's right. It says here, though, to them, their alcoholic life seems the only normal one.
This happens to everybody.
Now, when I'm not drinking, the worst period of my life, the worst periods, all right, when I'm not drinking without a program, look here what happens. They are restless, irritable, and discontented. And let's add some more words to that.
Sure.
Full of guilt and shame and bitterness and remorse and just on and on and on, every negative emotion possible.
And just to define those before you move on, Jim, restless means unable to rest or relax as a result of anxiety or boredom.
Wow.
And so we got to ask.
Exactly.
We got to ask the listener. Does that sound like something you're going through?
That's right.
Irritable means easily annoyed or made angry. Does that sound like something you frequently experience? What about discontented? Discontented means dissatisfaction with one's circumstances. Does that sound familiar to you?
Exactly. I said, though, but add some more words to that. I mean, every negative emotion possible. Guilt, shame, bitterness, remorse, resentment, on and on and on and on. Okay? Unless they can again experience a sense of ease and comfort, which comes by taking a few drinks. Drinks, which we say others taken with impunity.
And impunity means without consequence.
Without consequences. After they have succumbed to the desire again, as so many do, and the phenomenon of craving develops, they pass through the well-known stages of a spree, emerging remorseful with a firm resolution not to drink again. Now, this next sentence, to me, is one of the most important sentences in the entire book.
And you have to ask yourself, as the listener or watcher of this, has this ever happened to you? Does this sound familiar?
Correct. But it says here, though, this is repeated over and over. In my case, hundreds, if not thousands of times over. Unless this person can experience an entire psychic change, there is very little hope of his recovery. Wow. Why do I say I can tell my story in that paragraph? I drink because I like the effect produced by alcohol. Period. It's on a hot day, just like it is today.
Yeah, 105 today.
I met a guy to be my sponsor. Late afternoon here in Tulsa, I was riding with him in his car. For some reason that day, his air conditioner barely worked. We got caught up in traffic at 51st and Peoria. And I saw a Stroh's beer truck drive by. And I want to get out and chase the thing. I was hot. And I mean, I could see it, taste it, smell it, everything. And I told him that, I said, man, the taste of an ice cold beer on a day like this. He didn't say a word. He did, though, stop off at a Quick Trip about 2 blocks later to go get some cigarettes. He said, Jim, you don't think I need a drink? I said, yeah, I'll take a Pepsi. The guy came out there with a 12-pack of Pepsi, put them in my lap, and said, here, drink all of them. I'm going, you're crazy. He said, well, don't you like to taste Pepsi on a hot day? Drink all of them. Never in my life have I drank a 12-pack of Pepsi.
Yeah.
And I never will.
Oof.
But how long ago would a 12-pack of beer last me on even the coldest day?
Yeah.
You see, that's why I had to admit I drank for the effect.
Yeah.
It says here,
Well, and also, before you move on,
Sure.
I also want to point out that the phenomenon of craving develops after.
after the first drink.
Correct.
After the first drink.
I think
Correct.
that that's important.
The allergy, we do not get the allergy unless we take the first drink.
And there's the obsession of the mind, which we'll talk about later.
Exactly. We'll do that in chapter 3.
But the phenomenon of craving is once.
Once
you know,
the phenomenon of craving, correct?
Yeah.
It starts after the first drink, okay? So anyway, it says here that to them, their alcoholic life seems the only normal one. One night, I saw a lady, I was at King's Ballroom, saw a lady I worked with that I knew by hi, how are you, and asked her to dance. And that started a 5-year relationship. And we danced and we partied, and that's all we did. We even got married, but we had nothing in common.
Yeah.
That was my only normal life. I thought everybody partied the way I did. See, I met a lady who did, so that was my normal life. You see. But then, though, every now and then I try to get sober on my own, and I get real restless, irritable, discontented,
Yep.
full of those other words.
Yep.
Unless I could again experience a sense of ease and comfort, which comes by taking a few drinks. And I'm sure some of you all have felt this way. When you feel like you're restless, irritable, and discontented, you feel like your head's in a vice, and all of a sudden you take you a drink and you can breathe. Drinks which you see others take with impunity. It says here that after I had succumbed to the desire again, as so many do, and the phenomenon of craving would develop, I passed the well stages of a spree.
Yep.
Close it.
Yeah, and it says emerging remorseful with the firm resolution not to drink again, and then it's repeated over and over and over. Has that ever happened to you? So that's a good place to push pause. That is the end of this one, and so we'll be picking up right where we left off in the next part. So thank you again for joining us today. God bless you.